What's up, folks? So we're gonna do a few guitar exercises that are gonna help you improve your tone and finger dexterity. And you can do this actually without an amp, without being plugged in. It's gonna give you a good feeling for the dynamics of your guitar. I'm gonna show you how to do chromatic exercises, how to go up and down the different strings as well, because we want to have not only linear dexterity, but we also want to be able to go up and down. And I'm going to show you how to train to make sure that we emphasize on these fingers, which are usually the weakest ones. These ones are usually clenching pretty hard, but it's all about those fingers. So we're going to train those till it hurts. So follow me. We're going to go into another studio, or maybe even a couple. We're going to do a couple at the house, and hopefully that helps you. I'm going to break it down very slow. Alright folks, so here we are at the studio at the house doing a little bit of guitar practicing. I'm going to show you some of my tricks to get a little bit fluid and stay fluid on the guitar. It's something you can do, in between sessions, before you start a show, at the house when it's really late, whenever you have time. So no set schedule. Let me move a little bit into the frame here so you can see the whole guitar. So one of the things that I like doing is I want to make sure that all four fingers are sort of equally strong. Sometimes when we fret chord, it's like or like this. So it's sort of like we're using the whole hand, and I noticed that we sometimes don't, we have a lot of strength here naturally, from gripping the fingers here, but not so much on these fingers. So I'd like to, at least in practice, focus on those fingers more. So one of the things what I call the chromatic exercise. So what you do is you just, if you look at those frets here, you just go from the first fret on the E string, you just do one note at a time. You don't start like that yet. Start very slowly. If you're that good, you can start faster, but generally just any exercise started kind of slower. Right? And then there's two variations of this exercise. One you would be going, so that allows me to kind of quickly slide, right? Instead of, right? So this, over the whole body jerks, it's going to be a good practice to, I messed it up while talking about it, right? There's no sliding moves, you get there really quickly, so it becomes one fluid motion. So that is one way to practice it. And another way to doing is it up the strings, staying in the same position. My pinky stays in the area, so instead of doing right and then having to move my whole arm, I'm practicing myself so that my thumb is, let me show you this here on the back. My thumb is actually, let me show it to you like this. My thumb is actually quite close here. It stays like this. It's not like should I say, my thumb is already in position, giving my hand that right finger position. Now, sometimes, I'm not saying you should play all the time like that. Sometimes, if it's thumb moves up, you have to move around like that. But this is a good exercise to naturally fall back to this habit. And then when you do this exercise, you want to go back as well. Important it is. At the beginning it might not feel completely natural to start with this finger, but over time you can develop like variations of this exercise, and that's what I'm doing. Is I completely leave out this finger because I'm using this finger all the time. So sometimes you want to do variations of this exercise. For example, I'm just using these 3 fingers here because I'm using this finger all the time anyways, so I'm just working sort of on my weaknesses. Step up from this exercise would just be working with 2 fingers. Made a little mistake here. That's okay. Sometimes we're not warmed up. Then you go back up. Those 2 fingers, and in the beginning if you do that it feels a bit awkward, and then you shift that throughout the fretboard into different positions. This one, then you shift this to the fretboard to another position. It also kind of like teaches your fingers to be very independent. So let's do one together slowly from the first exercise that I suggested. That is very easy, and you can, I guess, practice that by yourself. So now let's do the 2 finger exercise with the pinky. Let's start on the 8th fret. Let's do that together. Up. But this gives you sort of like this flexibility. Another flexibility exercise somebody taught me was to do this and then this and then do this. You know, like isolate every finger like that and then do those 2. So basically break this connection that when you move this finger, the whole hand moves. There you go. Another one here really quick. Let me try this one here first. Mrs. Spock, Leonard Nimoy. You will be missed. Really, really loved your work and your presence in Star Trek. Always you want to move that all the way up to the fretboard eventually. So it'd be... And then remember the first exercise we had? The chromatic. So the nice thing is to do these things consistently over the fretboard. So we'll do, you did this area, then you do it here, and so forth, and then the other thing is, you see how just my volume skipped? You see how, my volume just skipped? The other thing is to keep the sound consistent. The thing is, those strings here, they change. Those are lighter strings, those are thicker strings. So by doing these exercises, you kind of get like a feeling for how a guitar is structured. It's like, well, I know that already, sometimes you have to get it into your systems. And just to kind of wrap it up with our first set of finger exercises, just remember, so we want to strengthen all 4 fingers, and we want to always make sure that they are sort of in position, you know, no stray hands, no yanking here of the left arm. And we also want to, one thing I want to tell you, fret very closely to the fret instead of far away where we're going to get some buzz noises. And then when you're set, you know, just do exercises. The next exercise, I want to finish with this one. I indicated this in the beginning. Sorry, this is a little bit chaotic, but hey, we're musicians. Is go up and down the fretboard. There we go. And then you go back up. Make sure you try to avoid sliding noises. So you can do that. That's great for music, but for practice, you really want to be able to jump without getting noticed. Always work on your tone. This is never perfect. You know, violinists, they practice like forever on just that one tone, and I feel the same way. I feel like, oh, you know what, that didn't sound right. So you gotta get it exactly right till it feels right, all right? And then do that with all the strings. One together very slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And back down. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. One more time. Stay with me. Rock and roll. Yeah, you can try to distract yourself. That's going to improve your timing. All right. Next thing up, folks, rhythm guitar, scratch guitar. Why are we jumping from finger exercise to this exercise? Because I want to show you that now we're talking about the left hand, we got to talk about the right hand. And I'm going to come up with some other exercises in the future. I'm going to show you that. One of my favorite. Alright, and that's it. Massive Beats out. Thanks.